think they're waiting a little bit past 3, but just we have a minute at the beginning. 3:02. A couple minutes at the beginning when there's nothing. Hello and welcome back to the action this afternoon here at the Olympic Oval. Last races of the day coming up, the ladies 3,000 meter. This is a long distance race for the ladies. We have 16 quartets of ladies 3Ks. First up, 2 pairs. Isabel Weidman from Ontario in the inner lane. Carlin Schoutens from the United States in the outer. They will be followed in the second pair of this quartet by Josie Spence from BC in the inner and Carrie Morrison from Ontario in the outer. Couple well-matched pairs in this race. Isabel Weidman's personal best is a 4:04.54. Carlin Schoutens a 4:06. Josie Spence personal best a 4:08. Carrie Morrison a 4:10. So let's see what they can do here. First lap times for Weidman and Schoutens. 30.3 for Weidman. Schoutens 31.8. Skaters should average below 31.5 second laps in order to skate a 4-minute 3K. That would be a personal best for both Weidman and Schoutens. So Weidman on pace so far, 30.8 is her most recent time. Schoutens 32.1. Spence and Morrison are settling into the low 31s. As they come around with 5 to go. They'll cross over on the backstretch. Close race so far between Josie Spence and Carrie Morrison. They are neck and neck. Isabel Weidman off your screen. She skated a 31.8. Starting maybe a little quick. Settling into some high 31s is Isabel Weidman. Carlin Schouten in the low 32s. Looks like Carrie Morrison falling just a little bit behind Josie Spence. So Josie Spence passing Carrie Morrison on this backstretch. Good long distance skaters will plan their attack so as to demoralize their opponent. Josie Spence, when she passes Carrie Morrison, will try to do it quickly. As Weidman growing her advantage over Schouten. Her lap time 32.3. Schouten's 32.5. Next lap times 32.8 and 32.9. Those skaters starting to fall off the pace a little bit. They're trying to set the time to beat here this afternoon in the 3,000 meter. The skaters are seeded from fastest to slowest. And here is the bell lap for Isabel Weidman and Carlin Schoutens. Weidman's lap time 33.1, 33.3 for Schoutens. Spence in the high 32s, Morrison low 34s. Bell lap for those two now. That's Josie Spence skating hard as Isabel Weidman and Carlin Schoutens will come to the line. Weidman will finish up with a final time of 4:05.56, 4:10.37 for Schoutens. Weidman missing her personal best by just 1 second. Schoutens 4 seconds off. Here's Spence skating to the line. She's on a good race. Her final time 4:09.96. 1 second off her personal best, and Carrie Morrison 4:15.23. Up next, 4 more skaters. In the inner lane, Nana Takahashi from Japan. She's racing Victoria Spence from BC in the outer lane. The pair behind them is Madison Pierman from Alberta and Abigail McCluskey from BC. As Takahashi and Spence get up to speed, their opening splits 20.3, 20.9. A 3,000 meter is a long distance race, but it is still relatively short, so a lot of skaters will start faster than they will finish and slowly fade off their speed by the end of the race. Still important that they pace themselves, though. As they reach this backstretch, that's McCluskey getting a big draft on Madison Pierman on that backstretch. Smart move for her to open a little bit quicker, and she's going to come through. 6 laps remaining for McCluskey and Pierman. McCluskey's lap time 31.5, 32.0 for Pierman. Takahashi's setting the time to beat so far. 30.78 was her first lap time. Victoria Spence 32.5. So a third of the race through for Takahashi and Spence. Takahashi has about a 3-second advantage over her pair. As McCluskey will come through. 31.8 is her split time. 33.1 for Pierman. Nana Takahashi chasing a personal best of 4:12.50. If she keeps this up, she is on pace for a personal best. Victoria Spence looking for a 4:11 flat. A 4:10 is an average of 33 seconds a lap. So Victoria Spence so far under that pace. She's setting herself up for a PB. Nana Takahashi sitting in the mid-31s. As Madison Pierman and Abigail McCluskey cross over on the backstretch. When they come around, they will have 3 laps remaining. Takahashi and Spence holding their own, 31-7 for Nana Takahashi. Spence 33-1. Spence has to keep this next lap in the low 33s if she wants any hope at her PB. Takahashi, that's the first lap where she's cracked into the 32s. Tori Spence 33-5. This is Pierman and McCluskey. They're both holding mid to high 33s. As McCluskey leads her pair through, her split time 34-8. Madison Pierman 34-0. Might be an interesting finish between Pierman and McCluskey. McCluskey slowing down, Pierman's picking it up. Takahashi and Spence on their last lap now. Spence still in the 33s, Takahashi dipping up into the 33s. As they finish up, Spence in her last corner now. Still looking strong. Victoria Spence is known to finish strong. Nana Takahashi will finish the final time of 4:04.89. That takes the top spot on the leaderboard. Also a personal best, 4:12.06 for Tori Spence, 1 second off her PB. As we see Pierman and McCluskey trying to finish up their personal bests, both 4:13. And they will narrowly miss those times. 4:14.49 for Abigail McCluskey. Madison Pierman 4:15.68. So 8 skaters down. That's 2 quads. 14 races to come. We have our next 4 skaters on the line now. In our first pair, this is Erin Bartlett from the United States. She's racing Femke Marcus from the Netherlands. Starting behind them will be Béatrice Lamarche from Quebec and Callie Christ from Saskatchewan. Erin Bartlett and Femke Marcus have almost identical personal bests. 4:16.7 for both skaters. And Marcus starting a little bit quicker. She's setting herself up for a nice draft on this first backstretch. As Lamarche and Christ are underway as well. And Lamarche's personal best is a 4:19.98. She'll be hoping for a big PB here. Callie Christ, 4:06.99 is her best time. And Christ setting herself up with a nice draft on that backstretch. Smart move by the veteran of the national team. Olympian in Sochi in 2014. This is Bartlett and Marcus, both settling into 31-second laps. Kristen Lamarche, Christ's lap time 31.8, Lamarche 33.4. If Beatrice Lamarche is to skate a personal best, she will have to skate under 34.4 second laps average. So far, her laps have all been in the 33s. So keep an eye on those lap times. She is on pace for a personal best right now. Callie Christ with low 32s is on pace for a sub 4:10 time. That would actually put her near her personal best. She's still looking strong here with 4 laps remaining. Bartlett and Marcus now coming into the finishing stretch. Both of their times in the mid 32s. Tight race between those two. It's Marcus who's taken the lead now. Her lap time 33.0, 33.8 for Bartlett. So Bartlett and Marcus will be aiming for mid 33s to skate their personal best. Callie Christ has a unique style in the 3,000 meter where she swings her arm for a large part of the straightaway, right through the entire race. Most skaters will keep their arms on their back until the last 1 or 2 laps. This is Marcus now pulling away from Bartlett. Bartlett fading hard. Her lap time 35.3. As we now hear the bell for Femke Marcus. 1 lap to go. Her lap time 34.0. She is chasing a personal best of 4:16. And she is on pace right now. If she can keep this next lap down. Bell lap now for Lamarche and Christ. Christ leads the way. Her lap time 35.2. Lamarche is coming on strong though. Beatrice Lamarche 33.8. This might be an interesting finish, but Callie Christ went over the top of her pair. Femke Marcus finishes up with a time of 4:11.60. That is a 5-second personal best for her. Erin Bartlett, her time 4:21.74. Callie Christ will now drive to the line. Her final time 4:14.55. Lamarche, a personal best 4:16.68, 3 seconds off her previous mark. Up next, 4 international skaters in quad number 4. This is Inga Ann Vassesen from Norway and Rining Tiang in the first lane. Sorry, in the first race. And Jacqueline Bernico and Brianna Kramer, both from the United States, in the second race. And our first skaters on their way. This is Vassesen and Tian. Their opening splits 20.7 for Tian. Vassesen 21.19. Don't let anyone ever tell you speed skating is an easy sport. As we occasionally see shots of skaters who have finished the races in the inner lane, keeled over on their legs, which are full of lactic acid. Vassesen and Tian setting their paces. 31.4 for Tian. Vassesen 32.7. Let's see what Bernico and Kramer can put up. Their initial lap times 33.0 for Kramer. Bernico 34.3. As Bernico and Kramer cross over on the backstretch. Tian and Vassesen holding pace 31.2, 32.6. Very competitive lap times for both skaters. As Bernico and Kramer come through. Very steady laps for those two. 33s and 34s. As we look at these 4 skaters. Tian started in the 31s and she has stayed there for 3 laps. Let's see if her 4th lap can stay under 32. 3,000 meter is getting close to that middle distance 1,500 meter, where skaters just skate out as hard as they can and try and hold on. And Rining Tian losing about a second on that lap, 32.9. 33.5 for Vassison. Bernico and Kramer with 34s and 35s. These skaters are also chasing personal bests. Vassison's personal best is a 4:21. And she is currently on pace as long as she can keep her remaining laps as close to those mid 33s as she can. Tian's personal best is a 4:18. She banked a lot of time at the beginning of the race. Let's see how much she dies at the end. Bernico's personal best is a 4:23. She will have to keep her average lap time under mid 34s. I think she is off that pace right now. Kramer is right on the pace she needs to set for a personal best. As our first pair is on their last lap, this is Tian and Vassison. Tian moving into the inner lane, passing the pair behind her. Kramer's now on her last lap. And Tian will come to the finish line. Rining Tian will finish up with a final time of 4:16.42. That is a personal best for Rining Tian. Vassison finished with a time of 4:18.49, a 3-second PB. Kramer finished up with a Bernico finished up with a 4:01. Sorry, that was Kramer finishing up 4:24.10. 4:24.10 is 4 seconds off her personal best. Good effort from Brianna Kramer. Jacqueline Bernico will come in with a 4:40.03. Up next is pair 9 and 10. This is quad number 5. Wai Ping Gang from China in the inner lane. She's racing Lindsay Kent from Manitoba in the outer. In the same quad, we will see Thea Floyton from Norway in the inner. Darian O'Neill from the United States in the outer. So this is Gann and Kent underway, trying to pick up their speed. Beginning of the 3K. So important that the first laps of the 3,000 meters are efficient. The skaters waste any energy in those first 2 or 3 laps, they will pay for it in the final 2 laps. Opening splits for Gann and Kent. Low 21s. O'Neill and Floyton, 21.6 and 22.0. As they cross over on this backstretch. This is our second pair. Let's see what sort of lap times Gann and Kent are starting on. 31.2 for Gann. Kent, 31.9. Here's Floyton and O'Neill. Starting a little bit slower than that first pair. 33.7 for O'Neill. Floyton, 34.1. So through 1,000 meters, Wai Ping Gan leading Lindsay Kent by about a second. Her lap time was a 32.2, 32.7 for Kent. In the second pair through 1,000 meters, they are neck and neck O'Neill and Floyton. Floyton picking up her pace. O'Neill's fading a little bit. Wai Ping Gan is chasing a personal best of 4:26.71. Lindsay Kent 4:21.19. Just for reference, a 4:20 requires an average lap time of 34.4 seconds a lap. Lindsay Kent currently under that pace, so she is looking good for a personal best with 3 laps remaining. Floyton and O'Neill also chasing personal bests. Floyton's time is a 4:29.03. Darian O'Neill has a 4:24.91. As Kent and Gann are still neck and neck. Same with Floyton and O'Neill. Good duels here in this 5th quad of the 3,000 meters ladies. Trading leads are Thea Floyton and Darian O'Neill. Lindsay Kent now pulling away from Wai Ping Gan. Almost 2 seconds she gained on that last lap. Floyton and O'Neill come through, still neck and neck. Mid-35s for those skaters. 1 lap to go for Lindsay Kent. 1.5 to go for Floyton and O'Neill. Lindsay Kent is all on her own up front. She is on pace for a personal best. If she can keep this next lap time down, as Thea Floyton is starting to pull away from Darian O'Neill. 1 lap remaining. 36.5 her lap time. O'Neill 37.1. And here's Lindsay Kent to the line. 4:17.77. A big personal best of 4 seconds for her. Wai Ping Gan 4:23.86. That is also a personal best of 3 seconds. As Floyton and O'Neill will come around. And it's tight race right to the line. Floyton will take it. Her final time, 4:29.40. Just missing her PB. 4:29.50 for Darian O'Neill. Up next in our 6th quartet, 2 Chinese athletes in the first pair. This is Xiangyu Chen and Dongzhu Zi. Starting a half lap behind them will be Namaste Harris Gauthier from Quebec and Danielle Wallish from Alberta. As the 2 Chinese skaters underway as they open their 3,000 meters. Harris Gauthier and Wallish starting now. Here is Z and Chen. 20.6 is Z's opening split, 20.9 for Chen. See if Harris Gauthier and Wallish can match. Their opening splits 22.0, 22.5. We have seen this weekend the Chinese athletes, both men and women, start these long distance races at a very quick clip. We will see if they fade and explode at the end. Their opening lap times in the mid 30-second times. That is very quick. Expect those to drop off as the race continues. Harris Gauthier setting a quick opening split. 32-8, 35-5 for Wallish. Danielle Wallish is chasing a personal best of 4:29.34. Harris Gauthier is racing her very first 3,000 meter. So she has the opportunity to race her own race and try to set the best time that she can, as the two Chinese athletes now starting to slow down, low 32-second laps. This will make for an interesting contrast with our first pair. Assuming the Chinese skaters continue to slow down throughout the race, they may catch our first pair, but then lose speed and die off. That was Wallish going through, or sorry, Namaste Gauthier going through. 35-6, 35-6 for Wallish as well. Chen, 32-8. So Chen has now passed the pair ahead of her. Z is starting to fade though, 34-1. Should be interesting to see whether Harris Gauthier can catch that Chinese athlete in front of her, because she is slowing down. 34-0 for Chen, 36-4 for Z. After starting on a 30-second lap, Harris Gauthier negative splitting into the 34s. Wallish 35-8. Harris Gauthier and Wallish both putting together very steady races behind these two Chinese athletes. Let's see if the wheels continue to come off. This is Harris Gauthier pulling through 34-7. She's on a good race, maintaining these 34-second laps. Wallish still in the 35s. Dongzhu Z 38-8. And Xiangyu Chen 35-2. So Wallish will really have to turn on the jets now to catch Chen. As we hear the bell for our second pair, as our Chinese athletes come to the line. Xiangzhu Chen will finish up with a 4:12.24. That is a very fast time for her. 12 seconds off her personal best. Dongzhu Z finishes up with a 4:23.83, just off her PB. So an interesting and painful approach to the 3,000 meter from the Chinese skaters. Seemed to work though, they had some fast times. Harris Gauthier finishes with a 4:24.86. And Danielle Wallish will cross 4:33.33. Two quartets remaining before we take a brief pause to reflood the ice. This is Imke Huser from Germany and Alexa Scott from Manitoba. Skating behind them will be Xinmiao Zhang from China and Véronique Derry from Quebec. So in these chaotic quartets, pay attention to the armbands of the skaters. They identify which skater started in which lane. Huser's opening split, 22-0, 21-6 for Scott. Here comes Zhang and Derry. Zhang's opening split, 21 flat, 21.65 for Derry. As our second pair of Canadians cross over on the backstretch. Scott and Huser setting initial times Scott 33-4, 34-1 for Huser. As let's see how Zhang and Dede match up. 31-7 for Zhang, 34-9 for Dede. This is the same pattern we've seen with all the Chinese athletes, starting very quick and dying off by the end of the race. So Alexa Scott leads MK Huser through the first 1,000 meters. Her lap time still in the 33s, 35-9 for Huser. Zhang quickly fading to a 32-2. Dede another 35. As Scott will come through, leading the first pair, 4 laps remaining for Alexis Scott. Her lap time, another 33, 33-8. Good consistency there from Alexis Scott. MK Huser fading to a 37. Zhang fading to a 34. She banked some time at the beginning. Let's see if it will carry her through to the end. Véronique Dede, 35-8. And now there will be 2 laps remaining for Huser and Scott. Scott with an almost 9-second lead over her pair. 35-2 is her lap time. Alexa Scott chasing a 4:31. If she can skate faster than 4:31, it will be a personal best. Huser is chasing a 4:36. Zhang a 4:33. Dede a 4:33 as well. Zhang on pace for a personal best, starting very quick. Dede falling off the pace required. As we hear the bell for Alexa Scott and MK Huser. 1 lap remaining for those 2 skaters in our first pair. Alexa Scott, her lap time, 36-4, 36-8 for Huser. 1 lap to go for Zhang. Zhang's lap time, 37-9. Dede, now on her last lap, 37-0 was her lap time. And Alexa Scott is going to lead the way and win this pair. Her final time, 4:26.76. That is a 4-second personal best for Alexa Scott. Huser will finish with a 4:36.02, also a personal best. As Xinmiao Zhang, starting quick, finishing slow, skates a personal best as well, 4:27.07. Dede finishes up with a 4:34.97, just missing her PB by 1 second. The air pressure is dropping here in Calgary, so the ice and atmospheric conditions are getting faster and faster and more conductive to quick times. This is the last quartet before we flood the ice, before more 3,000 meters. This is Jasmine Chase from Ontario and Marie Bakken-Haugli from Norway. They're in the same quartet as Olivia Scott from Ontario and Anne-Marie Vanderval from the Netherlands. And Vanderval will take the opener, 22-1, 22-4 for Scott. Haugli had the faster opener in the first pair. See what sort of laps these girls are aiming for, as Chase and Haugli will come through the finish line. Their first lap times, 34.7 for Haugli, 35.4 for Chase. Jasmine Chase is chasing a personal best of 4:35. Haugli a 4:28.29. For reference, a 4:30 final time is an average of 35.7 seconds a lap. Keep in mind that is an average, so if the skaters start faster than that pace, but then fade to slower, they still might skate a 4:30. Scott and Vanderval settling into low 34s, and Scott bringing it down into the 33s. Strong second lap from Olivia Scott. And she has now done 1/3 of the race. Olivia Scott, if she can keep these 33s and 34s coming, will skate a big personal best. Her current PB is a 4:36. Vanderval a 4:34. Chase and Haugli. Haugli still leading the way, 35.1 her lap time, 36.2 for Chase. As Scott keeping it in the 34s. Still on pace for a PB. Vanderval, 36.0. Looking strong. Jasmine Chase, 36.3. Her lap time, Marie Bakken-Hogli in the low 35s. Olivia Scott now dropping to a 35. Vanderval, another 36. 3,000 meter is a 7.5 lap race. Skaters start entering the corner for a half lap, and then they do 7 laps, changing lanes every single lap. The skaters all doing a good job. All in the 35s or 36s at the moment, as Vanderval slows down a little bit to a 37. If they can maintain those 36s, they are right on pace for a personal best. It will be tight with 1 lap remaining for Jasmine Chase and Marie Bakken-Hogli with an 8-second gap on her pair. As Scott gets the bell, her lap time 37.0. Vanderval 1 lap to go now as well. Jasmine Chase and Marie Bakken-Hogli will be finishing up now. Hogli will win her pair, looking strong down this home stretch. She kicks the line, her final time, 4:29.96. Just missing her personal best. Jasmine Chase, 4:39.17. And this is Olivia Scott skating to the line. She's looking for under 4:36, and she does it, 4:32.29. Big personal best for Olivia Scott, 4 seconds. And Anne-Marie Vanderval will finish up with a final time of 4:42.37. And that wraps up the first 8 quartets of the women's 3,000. Stay tuned for 8 more after an ice preparation. Remember to tweet or Instagram at the Olympic Oval, #FinallyFinale, to see your pictures or comments up on the webcast. Stay tuned for more action. We will return in approximately 15 minutes. The restart will be at 4 o'clock Mountain Time.